Hi everyone, we are Group 3. Today we will present you our product, Linkout. Before we move into more details, we want to share you a story first. This real story happens on one of our teammates. This semester, she receives a full-time job offer from Bank of America, and as we all know, bank has very strict background check process. So they ask her to provide the certificate of employment for her internship. Her internship is working as an IT developer in one department in US. There was no tracking system for students' internship experience. And at that time, the department also faced a sudden head change, so no one admit or intend to issue her a COE. So it brings her much trouble to go to multiple departments in order to be issued a certificate. In fact, her experience now are very common among job seekers. For normal background check that is done within the same country, it generally takes a week. However, for international background check, the time taken can be as long as 2 to 3 weeks. Nowadays, the pace of life is accelerated, but the background check can still take weeks to complete, resulting in a lot of waste of time and energy. Aside from job seekers, background check is also not easy for employers. 54% of the employment applications contain inaccuracy about things such as educational background and previous employment. So many resources are spent on verification of those experience, around $100 per hire, while those resources could have been allocated to somewhere else. Additionally, in today's globalized world, companies are expected to take in more international talents. Thus, more resources are needed in the hiring process. There are so many pain points in the process of background check. That's the reason we want to propose Linkout, which is an innovative, secure, and transparent platform integrated with blockchain technology to record the career paths and certifications of employees to ensure trustworthy verification of the experience in hope to speed up the background check process. Our target customer will be job seekers and employers. For job seekers, they will be able to record their work experience and certifications, request verification from previous employers, and give access to other employers for background check. Employers are able to retrieve the full background information of potential candidates. They can also issue experience to their employees. This process will make use the advantage of transparency, immutability, and security of blockchain. For the transparency, all the transactions triggered and experience added on the platform will on the chain. Thus, as long as a certificate is issued and be approved to access, anyone can view all the experience recorded on the chain. For immutability, the data stored on the chain is immutable, which avoids the potential malicious change of experience in order to protect authenticity of the information. Lastly, by utilizing blockchain cryptography, the protection of user data security will be further strengthened.
Thank you, Yami, for the sharing. And now we will move on to user journey in order to give a more specific view of our platform, And we will start from the employee's perspective. Once an employee or institution member ends its working or education experiences, he or she could have two ways to certify this experience. The first way is the employee adds this experience to himself and asks the company to certify. Second way is to ask the institutions directly, issuing that experience to him. By doing so, across some time, the employee could have a list of educational and working experiences, like certifications for bachelor's and master degree, or certification for previously working in some companies. From an institution's perspective, things are a little more complex. So the basic functionalities for them is to certify members' educational and working experiences in the institution. There could be two ways of doing this as mentioned before. One is directly issuing the experience to a member or employee. The other is by approving his or her self-edit experiences. By doing the certification, the institution will be rewarded ERC20 coins, which will be used in the future background checking process. Then, for new hiring and background checking, institutions could freely view a person's experiences, which are said to be public. They could also spend some ERC20 coins and send a request for viewing the full list of experiences under that person, including the non-public ones. In order to make this platform ecosystem self-maintainable, means less operations on the admin side. We will have some restrictions and assumptions for the institutions. First, institutions cannot freely register on their own. A platform admin will verify this institution to ensure its authenticity. This will filter out the malicious entities. For example, the entities who want to make money on the privacy of people. We also expect our registered institutions to value their reputation and the corporate image to act truthfully for the experiences certifying process. Lastly, we assume that our platform is largely recognized and most people acknowledge the blockchain system and how it achieves transparency, immutability, and security. So under the conditions mentioned above, I will further explain why the following mechanism will work by nature. The rewarding and the cost system is mainly for institutions instead of employees. Institutions could earn coins by certification and spend coins for background checking. Since the institution's authenticity are verified and will value their reputation, they will act truthfully under this restriction. We also value our users' privacy. By introducing the hidden and public experiences, users' privacy is preserved and only allowed institutions can view the hidden information. Thus, on top of all this development of logic, we believe all the features could help in increasing the hiring process and bring more career opportunities to users.
Thank you, Jingchen. So now our project is in substitution stage, and to move to the next stage, the further development is to first bring in currency exchange system so that the users can trade their fiat currency for platform tokens. This is to promote the balance between demand and supply of the certification market by solving the problem that some employers may have non-one fluctuate rate of their employees, thus having access or short of demand to provide certification of employment for their employees. The second move is to incorporate the review into employee experience validation part. The intuition behind it is that now we only provide factual description of work experience of the employees, while the background checking party may want to know some subjective views from the previous employers to better learn about their onboarding employees. The third move is in close relationship with the second move, which is to engage individual users by charging them some tokens for them to make experience certification requests and providing tokens as an incentive for them to respond to the reviews received by their ex-colleagues. Only the review accepted by the majority of the teammates of the employees will be published. With the validation and consensus from the colleagues, the credibility of the review is expected to be improved.
This is a short demo of LinkedOut, an application you built to make background checks easier. LinkedOut connects employees and employers and allows for both parties to easily verify past work experiences objectively. Before using the application, employees first had to sign up using the register button. They provide their first name, last name, username, a password, and a valid Ethereum address for the system. However, to ensure that employers are trustworthy and verified, the system only allows admin to register employers. Through the admin, employers can register for an account, providing a username, a valid Ethereum address, a company name, their physical address, a description of their company, and their account password in order to register for the system. Once an employer is created, they can then log in. Initially, all created employers start with 0 tokens. These tokens are the currency that employers use to view experiences of employees. In order to give the employer tokens, the admin must mint tokens for these employers. We will now mint 100 tokens for our new employer. Once minted, the employer's account will be updated with all these new tokens. He can then use these tokens to view experiences, which we will demonstrate later. But first, let us create a new experience request via the employees. Both employees and employers can create new experiences. As an employee, creating a new experience sends a request to the employer that the experience is associated to. The employer must first verify and acknowledge that the employee has worked in the company before the experience appears as verified. The employee provides the institution, the entity address of this employer, as well as the start and end date of this experience. Now, if we go back to the employer, we can see that the employer has received this request. Employers must first approve these requests for these requests to appear as verified on the employee's end. All this is currently in progress. By approving the request, the status of this request is then set to approve, which sets the status to verify on the employee's end. All verified statuses on the employee's end have a verified checkmark to show that both the employee and the employer have verified this experience. Employees can also set the accessibilities of their experiences to public or private. Currently, this experience is set as public. This means that even without sending a request, all employers can just view this experience. As an employer, employers can search for users using their candidate ID. As you can see, since the experience of the employee was listed as public, even without requesting for the full experiences, the employer is able to view this experience. We will now go and change the experience to private to show how it is like. When changed to private, employers are no longer able to view these experiences without first requesting. As you can see, the employer must now make a request to view these private experiences. Note that all these private requests will cost 100 tokens per call. Once the request has been made, the employee will then receive a notification stating that the employer wants to view their account. As you can see, the token balance is also updated on the employer's end. The employee has then received the request and must then approve this request for the employer to view their experiences. Going back to the employer's page, the employer should now be able to see the full experience of the candidate. As an employer, employers can also issue new experiences for employees. As all employers are verified and trustworthy, we do not require the employees to approve these experiences being given to them. This creates a system where all experiences are thus verified by the employers and cannot be rejected by the employees, allowing for a very objective system that shows every past experience of an employee, not allowing any employee to hide any past employment. Once created, this experience will also show up on the employee end. As you can see, this experience is already marked verified since it was created on the employer's end. That is the end of the core functionalities of our program.
And that is all for the presentation of our project. Thank you for being here. And do you have any question?